Welcome. I'm Alex Fairbanks, presenting the screencast on my public service announcement. This poster is made to be informative and apply techniques in graphic design so that it is visually appealing. My goal is to make it obvious as to what the audience this poster appeals to. These slides show my design process that explain the choices I made for the final product. Color theory creates a logical structure for color. One of the three categories to this is harmony. When choosing a color for a poster, you want to pick something that appeals to the interpreter's eye. The best possible visual experience will attract people to look at your work. Finding a balance in color choice is important. You want to avoid bland colors that are not engaging, because our brains tend to reject it. This is called understimulating. On the other end, you want to avoid being too extreme and overstimulating to the point where you ignore it. Chaos is not harmonious. When stuck with a decision to pick more than one color, it's important to pick them as complementary. On the left, we have several color wheels: primary, secondary, and tertiary. We look at the tertiary one and use two colors that are directly opposite of each other. These are complementary. In my poster, I chose blue and orange, and these arrows at this color wheel reflect that. These two images were taken from my poster that reflect the complementary color rule. It demonstrates an orange-themed image on the left to a blue space background on the right. This will give good contrast and stability when putting them next to each other. Typography is the style and appearance of print. It's important to pick a font that is engaging but not unreadable. I love simplicity, so I decided to choose a Calibri font using word art. Although the background to these words are in white and not completely visible, I will demonstrate its readability and contrast when put in a darker background. Here is a cropped photo of the top of my poster. The text has good contrast that avoids eye strain, as seen here. It uses the dark background to amplify the white text so that it is readable. I have bolded the font to further the message's clarity. The only problem I can see is that at the bottom center of the screen, where the space background is wider, the text could get a little bit confusing. Overall, it's not enough of a distraction to make me want to switch to a different color choice. The Swiss grid system can be defined as the authentic pursuit for simplicity. It uses grids as guidance to where you should be putting the images in your design. I will now temporarily exit the slideshow and turn on a built-in grid system in PowerPoint to demonstrate this. The bottom picture has an equal width as the top picture, allowing both pictures to be unified as a whole. Starting from the text at the top and having it end at the bottom leads the reader's eye naturally down. As you can see, there are no uneven columns or rows, and the NASA logo uses about a quarter of grid space. I found that these grids were particularly useful when trying to compare image sizes. Gestalt is a psychology term which means unified whole. These theories were developed to describe how people organize visual elements into groups. There are several principles, and the ones I used were continuation, closure, and proximity. Continuation occurs when the eye is compelled to move through one object and continue on to another. This is applied with the text that starts at the top and ends at the bottom. My purpose was to introduce the top picture with the text, and when they approach the bottom, it presents the next image. The next principle here, we have closure. This is applied when an object is incomplete or a space is not completely enclosed. If enough of the shape is indicated, the person will perceive the whole by filling in the missing information. This is demonstrated from the NASA logo that leaves the corner of the poster without a border. But the perception gets filled in when you look at the full poster. This was left intentional. Lastly, there is proximity. This is explained by elements that are placed close together that tend to be perceived as a group. In this poster, I melded the top space background with the bottom picture of the children. It is purposely done to simulate one full poster using multiple images. Here is the final poster with all the included elements. I hope that it is obvious as to what audience it refers to, and that my message is clear. I'm Alex Fairbanks. Thank you for tuning in to the screencast about my public service announcement.